I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts!
That look of the chosen one. Hey everybody, what's up? Happy Wednesday. Boy, this week has been insane. Just so tired from running around and all that fun stuff. Oh, look at me, yawning already. And I got to get up early tomorrow too. This is life, right? But welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. It's a podcast, or a video podcast, like Norm Macdonald. I wish I could be as good as Norm Macdonald, but I was trying to segue into that, but whatever. It's a podcast, a video podcast. I can't do it. Right? I try to do a Norm Macdonald impression. I do have a Norm Macdonald clip though. But anyway, Power Up Podcast is a podcast that talks about pop culture. Take a look at what's happening in the news of pop culture. This could range from video games, anime, movies, whatever spikes my interest, and just give my 2 cents worth, along with many others who also do the same thing out there. We look at the good, the bad, the ugly. I'll even try to bring in some scriptural reference when the situation presents itself. But yeah, we got some interesting articles pulled up here. A lot of Ubisoft related ones, because they can just when you think they can't lower themselves anymore, they do. But what do you expect from a company that is probably gonna go bankrupt or fail at some point? Let's be real here. It's going to happen at some point or another. If you're new to the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Right now, we are on Rumble, YouTube, and X. You can follow me over on X as well. And on YouTube and Rumble, in the descriptions, you can find my other social media, which honestly, I don't use a whole lot, but they're there. And then on X, we have the link tree. You can find them there as well. Just appreciate you guys hanging out with me whenever I go live, which is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 p.m. Central Time. Power Up Podcast, either a solo show or with a guest. And then we do game streaming as well, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then over the weekend. And that is also around the same time, 8 p.m. Central Time, and then on the weekend, maybe like 2 times, around 2 in the afternoon, and then later at night. But yeah, let's hop in. Let's hop right in, folks, shall we? Whoopoosh. Look at that. Tech for gamers. This caught my eye. Fable, Halo, Gears, and more reportedly in development for PS5. I don't know what this entails, but let's find out, shall we? So Microsoft announced its platform earlier this year, with Indiana Jones being the first AAA title to get a PS5 port. Now a rumor suggests that multiple other Xbox titles, including Gear EA, Fable, Halo, and more, are also being developed for the PlayStation 5. So ever since Xbox sales tumbled, Microsoft has been stumbling more towards the publishing space rather than a console maker. This transition would be a lot of benefit, as it could lead to higher sales due to more people owning the PS5. Ouch. So according to MAGG from Crossfire, previously predicted the arrival of previous Xbox ports, Microsoft is planning to release most of its upcoming titles on the PS5 as well. This includes Gears of War E-Day, Fable, Perfect Dark, Avowed, Blade, and Halo. If sales are taken into account, Xbox games have always done well on the PlayStation. Recent ports like Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush had a very good reception. Considering Microsoft's current struggles in the industry, this could turn out true, but take this with a grain of salt for now. Also, a very reliable leaker, X1S, has also stated that while the ports are planned, they are currently paused. Microsoft had hoped to get a lot of traction with the Indiana Jones PS5 reveal. However, it wasn't that well received. Yeah, because it's been wokeified, which led to the company slowing or pausing future ports. So it seems that even if there are plans, they have been put on hold. The solution is quite simple, really, is you just don't go woke. Just go back to how you made games in the past, because it was always fine. It was always diverse and everything. This DEI and woke stuff, is a forced ideology that doesn't do well at all. And any sort of success that they find is all due to smoke and mirrors weaseling in stuff. Prime example would be the current Silent Hill 2 remake. Selling very well, doing good. There's DEI stuff in there. And of course, because of this success, now they have something that they could say, see, DEI works and stuff. And it's like, no, that has nothing to do with it. Like, guarantee you, if you did it correctly or didn't even have that stuff, could have done even more, is my argument. But anyway. Could be possible that Microsoft is waiting for how well Indiana Jones performs on the PS5, then decide about the future ones. But for right now, there's been no official word, so it is strictly a rumor. And do you think Microsoft is developing all the rumored PS5 ports? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, the Indiana Jones game looks cool, but you know, people rightly pointed out that, you know, we want to play Indiana Jones, and just like in the Dial of Destiny or something, everything got shifted over to some unknown that no one asked. So I am with this person in saying taking it with a grain of salt as far as I'm concerned. Check this out, though. Over at That Park Place, Halo composer Marty O'Donnell says if Elon Musk starts a video game studio, he will come out of retirement. That's pretty cool. So he's the composer for Myth 2, Oni, Halo, and Destiny. Shared that he would come out of retirement if Elon Musk decided to start a video game studio. O'Donnell's comments came, in the wake of Musk being asked if he would start a video game company, in the wake of the woke. Oh my gosh. They said like wake 2 times and woke once. So you got like triple W's everywhere. The woke mind virus infecting the video game industry. During a town hall, Musk was asked with recent flops like Concord, Dustborn, games are prioritizing pronouns and things like that and stuff instead of actual gameplay. So I was wondering if you ever thought about making your own gaming studio and making an impact on the industry. So Musk responded. We kind of read a little bit about this last show. He responded with inclusion of pronouns is annoying. I would go a step further and say it's straight up retarded because it's just common sense based in reality. But of course, you know, these people, I mean, you can make the argument of like, well, the game's not a reality. It's like, well, you know, reality has been set. And the idea of shining a spotlight on pronouns just because you're like people out there are so have no sense of self-worth for themselves and whatnot that they have to then hang all of their being on top of whether randos call them by the right pronoun. Ridiculous. Musk answered, you know, if there's one thing actually that would be a fun thing to do, it would be to start a gaming studio because I intrinsically love video games, and I think if you apply sort of AI to video games, you could really make incredible video games. Kind of skipping a little bit just because I've read about this already. O'Donnell initially replied to this video writing on X, so I retired from video games because I had to fight MS, Bungie, and Sony. However, if anyone could coax me back in it, it would be Elon Musk. Give me a call. Please, Elon, make that call because we need it more than ever. Because I think it would be absolutely hilarious and another giant middle finger to all of these weirdos out there who, you know, are bastardizing the video game industry, and you just piss them off even more because it would be another thing, you know. Because we all know, like, what Elon's doing with Tesla and all that stuff. Like, if he was left-leaning, they would be praising him, you know, as the genius of many years, whatnot. But because he doesn't, you know, go along with their ideology, they try to pass it off as something not special. Saying, you know, the same thing. So I think it would just be absolutely amazing if Musk did do that. And then he shared in an interview with Andrew Chapados on his Andrew Says YouTube channel that he was fighting with corporate executive pushing for the woke agenda as far back as Halo 2. That's how rather sad that all of this was coming back and like was starting to rear its ugly head back in 2002 and 2003. Quite sad, really. And I've talked with Vic, Ruben, Doug TeNapel, and whatnot, and they've all said like none of this was really an issue, and if there was any sort of this issue, it was resolved behind the scenes, because in the end, you're just trying to give a good product. You didn't need to make that product cater to a specific person. I mean, you could if you wanted to. But we're talking video games here. Anybody can play a video game if they really wanted to. That's the thing. If you know the story of Halo, it's about the group of religious zealots that essentially commit suicide to keep their religion going. That's the character we had for the Covenant. And this was close after 9/11. He then shared, that started making Microsoft a little bit nervous because they felt like there could be some backlash from the Muslim communities. Fuck them. In the Middle East, that maybe this could be seen as Islamophobic. Dude, oh my gosh. Always worried about the big bad boogeyman out there somewhere. Gosh. All of a sudden, we were being asked to be very careful about some names of people or references or phrases or things like that. That is a type of censorship, because if that's not what the original story is about, then you're demanding censorship. Same, they did the same thing with South Park and all that stuff. And I remember reading also this article covering this interview here. Yeah, it goes on talking about how, they weren't trying to do some sort of allegory about the political situation in the world that had to do with the jihadists and all the rest of it. Maybe you know the story, but one of our main characters, the Arbiter, was not the Arbiter during the whole time we were making Halo 2. The character's name was the Dervish, and we had recorded all the voices. I had directed all the actors, and everybody was using the term Dervish. And then we found out that like this could be seen as an insult because there's an Islamic figure known as Dervishes. As far as I'm concerned, if you don't know about that, screw them. Who cares? So we had to change it. We were forced to change that name to a different name. So we came up with the Arbiter. Well, I will admit that the Arbiter does sound a little bit better, but still, that's garbage. Especially if this was like been in development all this time, then it's like, well, that's not my problem. But he was never happy about the change. I thought this is an artistic choice. This is what we had from the beginning. We were not making any sort of political or religious comments. Yeah, and I agree with his frustration 100%. It's not their responsibility to worry about the possibility of the reaction of the Muslim communities. Who cares? How many Muslims are playing Halo at that time, Yeah. Other than that, kind of padding the article here with quotes and statements from this video here. But yeah, let me know what you guys think if you want Elon Musk to start his own video game studio, because that would be absolutely amazing, I believe. Speaking of, video game studios and, thinking of games and trying to bring, I wouldn't say an original concept, because are there such things as original concepts anymore? Not sure, but I'll tell you of a concept that apparently a Japanese company thought would be a good game, and that is the Japanese butt sword game Ketsu Battler announced. I had to look this because I saw this, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? And yes, as you can see, they've got swords between their butts. Japanese developer Kayak has announced Ketsu Battler, a new butt battling game they're making in collaboration with Koro Koro Comic. The new butt sword battling game is launching for Nintendo Switch in Japan later this year on December 12th. This made me think of that anime, and I did watch it, that Keijo anime, where it's that water sports where they use their boobs and butts to like battle people. You know, because I'm a man and I like those things. So it made me think of this, except it was like really holding beam katanas like through your ass cheeks. Sure. So here's a brief blurb on the game. Apparently a reveal trailer. We will for sure watch this reveal trailer. Let's have an ass battle. A competitive game where you and your friends can shake your butts as hard as you can and have a good laugh. Etsu Battler is an action game exclusively for two-player battle. The most unique feature of this game is that you do not hold the controller with your hands, but control the character with your buttocks. By shaking your buttocks, you can wield weapons, and by building up power and thrusting your buttocks, you can perform special moves. The game is easy to relate to for elementary school what the fuck? Who are the target audience of Koro Koro Comics. And is sure to be a lot of fun with friends. I mean, elementary school students? I mean, back in my day, I wasn't concerned about sticking things like through my ass cheeks and, going on a rampage slaughtering people. But this is Japan, by the way. All right, let's check this out. Here you go. I'm not hearing any audio, so I'm assuming. Dude, this has to be a joke. It says it's coming with a comic, so I'm assuming it's a joke. Well, there you go. Hey, look at that. It's my own video. Huh. Well, that piqued my interest. So let's go ahead and we'll check out this rumor, apparently. Talking about Ubisoft disbanded Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown development team. So it's alleged that Ubisoft disbanded the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown development team. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. This rumor comes from French YouTuber channel Origami, whose host detailed that at the Ubisoft Montpellier office, employees were seen transporting boxes of supplies from one room, or not just a room, one floor to another. He notes the reason this was being done is because Ubisoft disbanded the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown development team. And then using YouTube's translate function, the Origami host states, in recent days at Ubisoft Montpellier, we are transporting boxes from one floor to another, and it is quite a symbol because it is that of dissolution, not announced to the public, but completed of the team Prince of Persia: The Lost. And then I was just about to say clown because I said, oh my gosh. What if it was a clown though? Would that have saved this game if it was just the Prince of Persia: The Lost Clown? Then instead of this guy, it's you're going as a clown, wall running and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. The trilogy of the PlayStation 2 Prince of Persia is like one of the greatest. Good series. The host went on to share that the decision to disband the team was made shortly after the game released at the beginning of the year on January 18th to Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. He said it was clear in the spring. In fact, a few patches, a DLC, and we are packing up. While Ubisoft management had made the decision to move on from the game shortly after its release, the host claimed that some members of the core development team fought for 2 DLCs in an attempt to change the minds of management. However, Ubisoft management were unconvinced, especially given the game's sales were below expectation. I wonder why. Instead, they wanted to reallocate the team to more potentially lucrative projects. Furthermore, the team was told that if they were to release a sequel, it could cannibalize long-term sales of the first game. Yeah, because this first game, just as it was stated, sold so well. It did publicly announce reallocation for resources within its company back in May, where it revealed it was scrapping development of The Division Heartland at Red Storm Entertainment and reallocating resources to bigger opportunities such as X-Defiant and Rainbow Six. Well, X-Defiant isn't doing well, so all your reallocating is terrible. Am I saying that right? Let's Power Keg Greg's new word of the day.
Reallocate. Reallocate.
I am not hearing anything. Oh, it's because I had my headphones plugged in. That's why.
Reallocate.
I was saying it correctly. Reallocate.
Reallocate.
I was right. Hooray. I did it. I deserve some ice cream or something. Furthermore, the company announced that its strategic focus was to regain leadership in open world adventure and expand footprint as games as a service native experience by leveraging ongoing efforts on proprietary cutting edge technologies as a differentiating factor. That just sounds like a big bunch of gobbledygook. Sounds to me like you keep reallocating because you keep sucking at what you're doing. So it's like, well, I guess we'll just go over here. All the more reason why I think it's hilarious that they're now targeting the Rayman brand. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown clearly does not fit in any of those categories, and it is a 2D Metroidvania platformer. Regarding the game sales, the idea that they were soft is not surprising. It was released on Steam beginning of August, only hit a peak player count of 1446, and then in the past 24 hours, it only hit a peak concurrent player count of just 123. Sales estimates also include that the game sold at most 54,000 units, and at a minimum, just 40,600 units. To put that in perspective, PlayerTrack estimated that Concord sold 20,800 units, while VG Insights estimated it sold 25,700. Furthermore, given the game released to Steam in August, it's likely Ubisoft was factoring in at least a decent bump in sales for its second quarter along Star Wars Outlaws release. Ha ha. But alas, you guys sucked. And then an announcement that was made in September. As we all know, it's cutting back its expectations for the second quarter from 500 million, what is that, euros or pound? Or I think that's euros to 350, 370, which is a 30% decrease. Also noted that it was lowering its yearly expectation to around this number and around break even non-IFRS operating income and free cash flow. This is where I get it. They're slowly decreasing. In fact, a 30% decrease. I get it. Like after a while, this stuff is just like over my head. At this point, all I can say is good. Hope Ubisoft crashes and burns to the ground. Because at this point, we need a studio to terribly, terribly fail and sadly get shut down for hopefully a ripple effect in the gaming community to finally urge studios to pull their heads out of their asses, get rid of all the consultants, your Sweet Baby Inc. consultants, DEI hires, diversity hires, all that bullshit. Get them out of there, because if they're not contributing anything, they never should have been there to begin with. Boot them out, and then get back to what should be the main priority, and that is making good games and not worrying about slapping on a man butt chin, as you can see right here at Ubisoft, or on Star Wars Outlaw. But I'm sure there's a butt chin somewhere in Ubisoft. And then there was a trading update call. Yves Guillemot was asked by Nicholas Langland. So the Q2 guidance, is it only Star Wars Outlaws, or is there something else underperforming in the portfolio? He responded, it mostly reflects the softer expectation sales of Star Wars Outlaws. And we also had behind expectations of Defiant. I love that. Mostly Star Wars. Oh, yeah, and X Defiant. It's like, keep the list going. I'm sure there's more. We already know Assassin's Creed. Actually, they didn't they push back pre-orders too on that? Wasn't that a rather new thing? Like, amazing. Dude, I'm trying, like, people wanted that game canceled. I didn't want Assassin's Creed Shadows canceled. I wanted to get such major pushback that they pull everything back and they redo the entire thing. If that means rewriting the entire story and get rid of Yasuke, so be it. Like, I want them to lose as much money as possible. Don't necessarily want the game to cancel. I know there was that petition over in Japan to get the game canceled. To me, I'd be like, nah, just make them lose a shit ton of money by redoing stuff over and over. You know? I think that'd be 10 times worse. Because then they could be like, oh, whatever, and then just move on. And it's like, no, make them fix it. And then when it comes out and it's still garbage, make it fix it again. While he did not mention Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, it is quite possibly based on the player count. We are seeing that this game did not meet sale expectations. Well, wouldn't you know? You had Star Wars Outlaws, X Defiant, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crowns, Assassin's Creed. And then what do I make of the rumor that the team behind Prince of Persia was disbanded? Like, what were you... honestly, as a developer... working under Ubisoft, like, is can we say, like, I don't know if there's any developers out there. I'm sure there are that could share this information, or at least, like, you know, through DMs, or, you know, remain anonymous and stuff. I want to know if developers think that if they get an offer from Ubisoft to, like, work on something, I want to know if that's like the stamp of death, you know, that kiss of death, because they know it's like, well, this is probably not going to do well, and we're probably going to get fired right away or let go right away. Like, I want to know that. I want to know if there's, like, studios out there like Ubisoft, to where if it's like you see that, it's like the kiss of death. Like, you just know something bad's going to happen. And should you take it? Should you take it or not? So that was from that Park Place. And Video Game Chronicle also had a article written about this as well. They have a subtitle that says, it claimed that low sales meant a sequel wasn't on the cards. Jeez. You had an established character from the past, and you decided, we need to go with this. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought I heard someone say that they actually made a skin where you could actually play as Altair. That's his name, right? Or is it just the prince? I said Altair. I might be thinking of Assassin's Creed. But anyway. So, new report. Disband the team responsible for Lost Crown. Again, Origami Channel. reported the news on Tuesday, citing sources including multiple developers from Ubisoft Multiplier. Ooh, there's apparently an update with an Ubisoft response. Ubisoft has now responded to the report, essentially confirming it to be true. Okay, so it is actually true. That Park Place had a supposed rumor, but it is now true. And then in a statement to Eurogamer, the game's senior producer, Abdullah El-Ges, said, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is now at an end of its post-launch roadmap for 3 free content updates and 1 DLC that released in September. We are now focusing on making the game available to more players. It was recently launched on Steam and will be available on Mac by this winter. Hey, you guys, you want an underselling game? Well, now you Mac users can hop in on there as well. Most of the team members who worked on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown have shifted to other projects that will benefit from their expertise. Wow, what a double... who said that? That's kind of like a slap in the face. Other projects will benefit from their expertise. Whoomp. Sales. Whoomp. Oh, is that where you're hinting at? Is that their expertise means games don't sell? Low sell? Oh, man. What an asshole. I don't know who said that. Oh, this person. For some reason I thought it was like another quote from someone else. Dude, I'll guess. What a dick. We know players have a love for this brand. Is that why you changed it? Man, we know players loved the PlayStation 2 games back in the day. You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna make this guy. And Ubisoft is excited to bring more Prince of Persia experiences in the future. They're so excited that they disbanded the team. Make it make sense. According to Gautaz, the game's initial sales were lower than expected, meaning any possibility of a sequel was effectively ended within weeks of the first game's release. And then it pitched, supposedly members of the development team pitched a sequel, which turned into a pitch for 2 DLC expansions instead. It's like, yeah, we have this great idea for this sequel for this game. Yeah, it's not doing well. We're not continuing it. Well, what about DLC? Man. It also claims that Ubisoft's justification for rejecting the sequel pitch was that the release of the sequel would cannibalize sales of the original game, which were already lower than expected. It's like, look, guys, this game you guys made sucked ass. And if we go ahead and greenlight a sequel to this, it's just going to be 10 times worse. And we got some money from the original. We don't want to jeopardize that. Oh my gosh. I heard or read the best production of my life 3 or 4 times in one weekend about the development. Wait, what? Oh, I skipped one. Sorry. Gotes added that from what he heard from his sources, the Lost Crown didn't suffer from production issues, and that, in fact, the team considered it a joy to make. I heard or read the best production of my life 3 or 4 times in one weekend about the development of the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Well, what were they happy about? Were they happy about that they were bastardizing the Prince of Persia series, I guess? Because you could make the argument, because wasn't it... was it an arcade? I mean, clearly, the one I can think of is from Nintendo, Famicom, Nintendo Entertainment System. Clearly that one's different from the PlayStation trilogy that we have out there. I grew up with that one. That one was solid. And then they kind of did that weird Xbox 360 one, which it was kind of okay, but I have yet to go back and play it. So, I'm assuming they based it on the PS2 one. And if that's the case, then it's what exactly were you so joyful about it? Was it the fact that, you were working on Prince of Persia, or was it the fact of oh yeah, we're updating this for modern audiences and stuff like that? So that doesn't look like the Prince from the PlayStation series, PlayStation 2. It provided both hope for another way of creating and a rehabilitation zone for people burned out by Beyond Good and Evil 2, but the team was disbanded by Ubisoft. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Beyond Good and Evil 2. Wait a minute. So were the people who were doing Beyond Good and Evil 2 like worked on this game? I have no idea. That one doesn't make sense to me. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was released January to a positive critical reception and currently has a Metascore of 85 and 87. But how can you state that? Because the sales are terrible. See, this is what I absolutely don't like. This is like the same garbage with The Last of Us Part 2. Like, positive reception, even though, ignoring the leaks that actually the real gamers and real people who liked Last of Us hated what they did for Last of Us Part 2. So, had all that pre-orders, sold all that stuff. Returns of that game were insane. I know, because I returned mine. Because I played it and I said, I don't want this in my collection. Whoop. There you go. But they don't care about that. They'll just look at it. We sold it. And then at the time, of course, because they knew that they lost to Ghost of Tsushima. So instead they, attacked it for the one guy playing the loot of whitewashing. And then just was biased towards Last of Us Part 2 because it was a woke PSA walking simulator. And they gave it all this awards when I believe the fan voted award went to Ghost of Tsushima. However, the 2.5D action platform has met with a negative reaction by the gaming community ever since its first trailer was released, which received just 20% likes on YouTube. Notice how they purposely only said, look at how they worded this. Like they're trying to lessen the blow. That's why they purposely put this up there. It's like, no, it had a positive critical reception. It has a Metacritic score of 85 and a 7. Oh, yeah, I mean, there was a negative reaction with just like 20% likes on YouTube. It's like, oh, So Ubisoft said, well, we're, wiping the blood off of our hands on that one. Let's switch over to then Rayman. Prince of Persia devs shifted to Rayman remake and 2 other games at Ubisoft. Yesterday, a rumor surfaced online that the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown has been disbanded. However, shortly after, Ubisoft confirmed the report, but revealed that the team is still present. And is bust at Ubisoft and is bust? And is bust. I have never heard of that saying. No idea what that means. But anyway, so the team wasn't laid off, which is a relief. Shoot. That was just a joke, by the way. I don't really know these people. Obviously, if like they were good, hardworking people, they shouldn't lose a job. But if they're a woke hire or a diversity hire and never should have been given that job to begin with, then yeah, then they need to lose their job. Which is a relief given The Lost Crown is actually a great game. Oh no, tech for gamers. What are you talking about? Ubisoft said that the team is now working on different projects, which is a reliable inspector as further clarified. A great game, they said. Brandon, I haven't played. Part of me kind of wanted to see it because I thought was it Endymion? I think Endymion said he played it and he said it was actually pretty solid. But he said if it was him, he said to get the actual Prince skin and play it with that. Which then you just wonder, well, they should have just done that to begin with. Anyway, Ubisoft said that the team is now working on different projects, which a reliable inspector has further clarified. Ooh, like Inspector Gadget Inspector or a video game inspector. What would be the job of a video game inspector? Judging by the DEI cover art, I'll say that this game there's gonna be a murder. Because this game is going to die from lack of sales. So the team wasn't laid off. Oh, wait. I've read that already. The team seems to be working on Rayman Remake. Oh, so it has actually been confirmed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is actually being worked on, and the next mainline Ghost Recon game. Well, now I'm especially worried for Beyond Good and Evil 2. So The Lost of Crown is one of the better games from Ubisoft in a few years, so disbanding the team behind this game was shocking. Was it really shocking, or was it the fact that it's not as good as what you're making it out to be? The insider reveals that the majority of the developers have been moved to 3 different projects. However, the most interesting one reveals the Rayman remake, as it is one of the oldest and most iconic video game series. Well, all the more reason that Ubisoft said, well, we got to bastardize this series. While the remake seems to be in development, it has been an unpopular project among the developers, the same as Beyond Good and Evil 2. He also revealed that many developers working on Beyond Good and Evil 2 are confused by why Ubisoft is spending a lot of money on the project, as it isn't likely to get that back. For Beyond Good and Evil 2, I mean, you could get that money back. It's called... it's like a broken record. It's called Get Rid of DEI and Woke Ideology. You know, obviously it's the same talking points over and over and over, but it needs to be said until we finally, fully remove the weeds, sprayed weed killer in there, and then never ever allow weeds to pop up again until they actually provide some sort of creative endeavor that isn't based on weirdo ideology. He also revealed that The Lost Crown has sold around 1 million copies since its release and didn't meet the sale expectations. Womp. Ubisoft seems to have a really high expectation from the game, as the gaming giant was expected to compete against the biggest Metroidvania game in the market by selling millions of copies. What do you think of the gaming giant reviving Rayman? They're going to probably fuck it up. Dude, I'm sorry, but for me, any remake, any remastering of games from the past, established games, franchises from the past, is going to be ruined in one way, shape, or form. I will point to the one example that I think every remake should follow in terms of how to do it, in terms of the soul, and in terms of actually caring about it, and that is Shadow of the Colossus remake. To me, that is the benchmark that I think everybody, any developer, any studio in remake games should strive to, because they did not fuck that game up. All they did was rebuild it from the ground up. Anything that was added further advanced the already established story and didn't take away from it. No censorship, all that stuff. Needs to happen. Needs to. I keep saying Shadow of the Colossus remake. I read a little bit more. I want to read more about what went into that, because no one complained about it. So Video Game Chronicle also released an article about that as well, saying that it has started an exploration phase on the Rayman brand. Company issue statement following report that a Rayman remake is in development. Ubisoft has said it is exploring bringing back the Rayman series. The company told Kotaku, boo, that a Rayman project is in its early stages at the Montpellier and Milan studios. Also confirmed that Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil creator Michael Ansel, who left the company in 2020, is consulting it. Okay, so that's new information. If that is indeed the case, he better tell people not to mess with it. We are pleased to confirm Ubisoft Montpellier and Ubisoft Milan has recently started an exploration phase on the Rayman brand, said a spokesperson from Ubisoft. The project is still in its early stages, and we will share more details later. As creator of the Rayman brand, is it Michael or Miko? Ansel is being consulted to ensure consistency within the universe, they added. How much are you consulting him is the main question. Ubisoft commented on the project after Insider Gaming reported that a Rayman remake is in development at Mario plus Rabbids Studio, Ubisoft Milan, with assistance from Montpellier's development. It claimed that the Montpellier team, keep saying the names over and over, which developed Prince of Persia Lost Crown, has been broken up after Ubisoft decided not to make a sequel. The majority of those developers are said to have joined Montpellier's Beyond Good and Evil 2 team, with about a dozen moving to Project Over, the next mainland Ghost Recon game, and a similar numbering joining Project Steambot, the Rayman title. The fifth and most recent entry in Ubisoft's platforming series was 2013's Rayman Legends, which was developed by Montpellier Studios. How many times was that word used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It felt like every other sentence had that name in there. Oh, did I count that one too? 6? 5 or 6. But there you go. Let me know what you guys think. If you think Ubisoft will do a respectable and obviously tip of the hat towards the source material when working on a Rayman brand, or when installing a new addition to the Rayman brand. You think they'll be good at it? Mine is X to doubt on it, because I think a lot of the people at Ubisoft are
Gay.
Really, that's kind of all I had planned for tonight. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at what games were released today. Oh yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3. That is a really good game that I would definitely recommend people to go and play if you've never ever played it before. Super Mario Brothers 3 released. Got some Medal of Honor, Ready to Rumble boxing. Batman Returns, apparently for the Game Gear, but I believe there was a Sega Genesis, maybe even a Sega CD and a Super Nintendo. I think the Super Nintendo one's a beat 'em up. I need to play that one. Oh, you got Time Splitters. Got your Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. Hey, Naruto Ultimate Ninja 2003. I have that game. It's sitting right over there, actually, in a box, because I was thinking about moving on from having those games in my collection. Dracula X Chronicles, Ratchet and Clank. See, I'm not See, I want to know what they do when they bolden these, like, because this is saying Nostalgia Pro Evolution Soccer. Not exactly sure, like, what, because it's like, why isn't Super Mario Brothers bold? Like, that should just be that. Super Mario Brothers 3 should, like, take up the. Whoops, sorry if you just heard I just hit my mic. Sorry if you heard a major. Super Mario Brothers 3 should, like, fill up the whole screen, you know, because that is the GOAT. You've got your Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. That came out in Japan a year ago. Oh, God. My Femboy Roommate. Oh, my gosh. Burn it to the ground. The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. The Unfinished Swan. What the hell is that? Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. I think I've played a little bit of this one, if this is the game I'm thinking of. And it's not a terrible game. Can I, like, see a picture? Media. Here we go. Yeah, okay. I've seen that this actually had good feedback. That was GameFAQs' gaming history. Moving on over to Moby Dick. Apparently, Pac-Man, the Wang 2200 version, was released 43 years ago in the United States. Like we said, Super Mario Brothers 3 in Japan. The Japanese version of the Addams Family. There you go. Apparently also for the Game Boy. Over in Japan. The Addams Family. Street Fighter Collection for Japan was released. Pandemonium 2. Heard that game's pretty solid. Pocket Bowling. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 3. There you go. PlayStation 2. Woo! That was the first game that my brother and I had for the PlayStation 2. My parents got me Dynasty Warriors 4. And they got my brother Grand Theft Auto 3. The uncensored version, like as uncut as it could have been in terms of, you know, meeting the ratings standards, I guess. Still have it, I believe. Hope so. Or it may have gotten really, really scratched up. I'm pretty sure it has. Because we had to get 2 PlayStation 2s. Because, the disc reader being shitty. Moving on. Like I said, Naruto Ultimate Ninja. Naruto Ultimate Ninja. Or as the English speakers would say, Naruto. Apparently you got your Harry Potter collection for a PlayStation 2, The Sims 2 Castaway for the Wii U, for the Wii, the United States and Canada. Wait, there was actually a Napoleon Dynamite, the game for the PlayStation Portable? Oh my god. Anyone play that? That's pretty funny. Got Naruto Clash of the Ninja Revolution for the Wii, United States. Borderlands in the United Kingdom for the 360. Not bad, not bad. Some Assassin's Creed versions. Syndicate. Ooh, Tennis Club Story, Android version. I actually have that on my phone because I played tennis in the past. Alas, but tennis has betrayed me. Tennis caused me to break my clavicle. Or that was me. I was betrayed by tennis. No. Flipper Dunk. I just thought the name was funny. I have no idea what it is. Nothing too much standing out except my yawn. Ooh, Vengeance of Mr. Peppermint. I actually played that game. Not a bad game. I wished some stuff was fleshed out a little bit more, but I liked the style. I don't know if they've done anything to update it or anything. But there we go, fellas. That is our Wednesday stream for tonight. Thanks for everyone for hanging out with me. Again, we were on YouTube, Rumble, and X. So if you enjoyed it, smash the subscribe button, punch right in the face that thumbs up button, and ring that bell to get notified when I go live. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are usually when I do, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 Eastern Time, with Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the weekend being some game streaming. But fun stuff. You can also follow me on my locals and on X, and just humbled and blessed for all the support and helping push the algorithm for the channel. If you want to go beyond that, you can always check out membership/subscription tiers. With that, I am actually going to head off. Going to try to get some last minute work in and then bunker down for the night. But thanks again, you guys. Take care and God bless. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.